Hello. I'm very happy that everybody made it up here. It's going to be a little bit warm, I guess, but hopefully we're going to have a great time going through my presentation. I have about an hour, I was told. Let's see how we go at this. So I called my presentation Architecture and Beyond, and it was obviously to just say that we are going to talk about architecture, but I wanted to bring you through some projects with a narrative. And I thought what would be an interesting perspective to take. And since I traveled here from Amsterdam office, I thought let's try to bring these projects through by looking from a traveling perspective. And since traveling is, one of the inspiration parts also for people, I hope we can all get some inspiration from this presentation as well. I hope you agree that traveling often serves as a source of inspiration for creative disciplines, particularly architecture. And it can be seen from every different scale, whether it's a city scale or we look into patterns and materials. We have a lot of wonderful suppliers here around us, and I'm sure they all can tell you the same story. So I invite you to come on a journey with me, to think along how architecture shapes our world, and traveling, how built environment can become inspiration, and how the more we see the world, hopefully we also understand each other and can make the world in every part a better place. I am from UNS, United Network Studios. Also used to be known as UNStudio, and we rebranded recently United Network Studios. It's founded in 1988 by Ben van Berkel and Caroline van Bos in Amsterdam. And with our 37 years of experience and being active in 50 countries, our network expands over 450 people within our offices. The home office is located in Amsterdam. This is also where I am coming from, together with my husband here, who's sitting at the back. He is actually from Munich, so we have another interesting connection back to the city here. And we have another German office, Frankfurt, and a couple of other global offices like Austin, Texas, Dubai, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and soon to be a Riyadh office as well. But not only are we a network of studios across the globe, we are also a fun group of people. This is actually a picture from a few weeks ago of our summer event, and I am really a firm believer that the better you know people, the better you understand people, the better projects we will also make. And we really come also from across the globe. This is me. I'm not sure why I'm behind the beer bottles, but let's discuss that part later. And the more we see the world around us, the better we understand each other as people. The more we travel, the more we also come across different typologies. So within UNStudio, we like to keep ourselves busy with really working from product to really big mixed-use projects. Also along actual physical objects, we work with experience. We also have interior design, and it's really a range of it. And as an architect, for me, this is actually something really, really exciting that keeps me awake at night, but also keeps me inspired, that we are able to really work across the scales in different countries with different clients and also different, friends in the end. But let's come back to traveling. Why does one travel? We can have very many different reasons for it. Perhaps work, just for fun, hopefully, a lot as well. Necessity, because we have to, commuting, personal growth, perhaps. Special occasions, just exploration, perhaps for some people shopping, or sports, either to watch or be active. Recreation, seasonal reasons, curiosity. Seasonal reasons are very much in Amsterdam a reason to leave. So in the end, it is to connect, explore, to move forward. Architecture is often the infrastructure of our journeys. So let's talk about the journey. We often need to move from A to B. So did I, to come here this morning from Amsterdam. So often the infrastructure projects are the ones that, give us the opportunity to move from one place to another. Transportation hub, train stations, and airports. So I first want to touch upon some of the airports and also talk about how the journey often begins. I find always airports very interesting because they are in a way portals. So you sort of go into this portal, it becomes a gateway, and then you end up in another place. They're just not multifunctional hubs, but also blend this like aesthetic and cultural identity together. Also see some of our proposals here on the right side, the airport in Taiwan or the Schiphol airport proposal or the Kutaisi. They all have a very different character to it. Often the journey begins in the airport, integrating the your local culture and the user experience. Not only being very high security shopping malls, how I sometimes like to call them, but also the very first impression of the country one arrives to. Even though, it is eventually a very big shopping mall as well. They are designed to balance functionality with emotional experience. In this specific proposal, the idea was actually to try to make people feel like they are inside of a music instrument. So giving you this geometry and materials that will almost unconsciously give you the after image. So designed to balance functionality and the emotional experience. How does one design the flow of movement through the space? How can we ease our way through these busy infrastructure hubs with the geometry or with the architecture? We have a wonderful example from UNStudio where the transportation hub integrates train, bus, and bicycle facilities. This is the Arnhem Central Station. German, that's not true. This is Arnhem. The design focuses on very seamless passenger flow and connectivity between the different transportation modes, organically guiding you through the right direction. It's really meant to be, and it also really functions as an intuitive space. It features this fluid sculptural roof that enhances the experience and supports your effortless wayfinding. So actually, we're trying to avoid as many signage as possible but help the space to guide you. I have a couple of other videos to the presentation just to, break it down, keep you awake. So it's a flow of architecture that intuitively guides movement. Its form, material, and daylight enhance orientation. Natural light creates this welcoming, but at the same time, very functional space. And hopefully it's not just a place to pass through, but really something that enhances your emotion and also your daily commute, whether it's just for once going through Arnhem or several times. So I really absolutely recommend to visit this place if you haven't already. And if you have a stopover, you can't really see much, but as a train station is really a wonderful destination as well. Another very exciting infrastructure project, one of the biggest construction sites is going to be in Europe, Chamartin Station in Madrid, which was also the background of this event here. Design emphasis, connectivity, of course, sustainability, but mostly integrating public spaces. And it is about to transform the center of Madrid. It's a very large-scale mixed-use development and integrates transportation, office, retail, and residential components also in the towers. And of course, as an architects and designers, we don't just look at the building, we look at different scales. So we look at address scale like city scale, station, and a human scale. And each of them have their own unique character. featuring on the ground floor also the green corridors, pedestrian-friendly zones, and seamless integration of architecture and infrastructure at the same time. This is an extension of an existing terminal, so it's important to actually take over. You know, it's not about just introducing always something new. If you have a place with a character, you wanna enhance it. You wanna bring the new unique identity, but keep the things that people actually love and know about the station already. So this is the south part of the station. If you look at the north terminal, it is still working with the same vaulted geometry, but actually gives a modern, a bit lightweight twist to it to take a step further. Work with the same geometries, but to take a step further. And the canopies follow the inspiration also from, in generally, of course, the south terminal with a very different scale, of course. Eventually, it's creating a vibrant hub centered in the station, centered in Madrid. And if you look at the urban perspective, it actually started with creating this kind of a ring structure, enabling connections between north and south, but also from all parts of the city, as well as proposing the towers that are around it. So Chamartín will become the new heart of North Spain in Madrid. And actually, for me, what I love this image the most because it's actually, I almost see this something as an urban interior place. So it's really about the warmth, the welcome, the enjoying the stay, and, you know, movement and infrastructure at the same time. But find these moments in the project where you feel like this living room moment. It's obviously a very different scale to be an actual living room, but travel is not supposed to be only something that brings you to the space, but actually also offers you these moments where you want to maybe stay for a longer coffee or Aperol Spritz, as many of you have enjoyed here as well. So the goal is to create the true catalyst for urban health in Madrid. UNS had a very unique opportunity to create a metro network for Doha. And instead of designing one station, we took the whole 232 square meters and made 100 stations out of it. However, it was a very, very tight timeline. Therefore, the question is, how did we do it? So instead of a typical architect who would go and go through the project and the building from day one until the end, we actually created something called a branding manual. It's about designing a system that will allow other companies and contractors to take over and actually still execute the project with the full detail by actually having everything written down. So we started to design a system that allows adaptability, flexibility, and context sensitivity. And to do so, it went in 3 steps. First, to create the network, create the identity for the full network. So this is the full brand for the stations. Obviously, each individual line, you do want to know which one you are at. Everybody's been in metro. You want to have your colors, you want to have your identity. As well as every station has a very different situation in terms of geometry, how many lines are coming together. And it's pretty much like a match game that will be a little bit of like a Lego or a Tetris game in the end. And it was a very successful project that was finished within the timeline. And I think it's a true example that design can be a journey and not always a destination. And since it's a system, it can always keep on growing as well. So it's something very beneficial for the city as well. Something a bit more lightweight. If we commute a lot, we sometimes just have a full day of traveling and we need a little break. We want to be perhaps in a nice, warm, green oasis. Especially in airports, we often have very clean environments. This project is an oasis, the calm in the heart of motion, how I called it. And, thank you. And it's, in my opinion, often important to trigger these sensory experiences. So we talk about light again. sound, touch. And in this case also smell, because it features Paris baguette and coffee. So it really creates you a very different environment to enjoy your time. It is situated in this non-place called an airport, and really creates this sort of a garden moment, oasis of calm. So if you're ever in South Korea, in Incheon, I hope it's still going to be there, because it's meant to be a temporary pavilion, but maybe we make a new one. For now, it's still there. And it's really, really a nice little break from flying. Last but not least, from our infrastructure, a little journey here, is one of our true DNA projects from UNStudio. It's called the Erasmus Bridge. It is located in Rotterdam, Netherlands. It's also known as the Swan. It's fun fact, it's actually, well, these are nice pictures, but it's not actually white. It's like this pale blue, which a lot of people think it's white, but it's actually off white. But it's not just a bridge that is featuring this 139 meter high pylon, but it's really something that connects the city. So rather than just being something that is a symbol of Rotterdam as an image, it brings people their own stories, right? This is a very interesting picture that we often like to use to talk about something that really became an icon for the city. Sometimes I think, I mean, you might not have the feeling, but I always, when I visit places that I have been, you often have some sort of landmarks, some sort of towers or elements that bring you back to memories of being in this place. And this bridge for Rotterdam has absolutely become something that makes people to feel like they have arrived home, or they are going home even after work. Let's talk about destinations. So let's say we're done with our traveling and we're arriving somewhere. How do we create experiences while we are traveling? Often we arrive to a new city and we look for something buzzing. We're looking for a museum. We're looking for a shop or an area that kind of brings us into the vibe. Obviously, weather makes a very big difference always, but let's say we don't know about the weather. We're just going to arrive somewhere. So let's talk about culture and retail. And I'm also going to touch upon a little bit about how retail environments that's actually already is blending the culture and retail together. So it's not just about place of consumption, but really something to enjoy more than just buying and giving, your money to whatever you want to buy. So firstly, I would like to invite you back to Amsterdam. If you haven't been to this beautiful street, which is the most expensive shopping street in Amsterdam, I definitely recommend you to leave all your money there. No, I do recommend to go to see these two facades, but also there are other wonderful projects along the street. This is, Amsterdam is a city that is full of heritage, right? And often when we work with the heritage area, we have to find a really fine balance of introducing innovative ideas, but also still staying into the context. So both of these facades actually was a story about modern craftsmanship twist to this like historical setting or historical location. So it's really trying to find this, define this jewel in the city where craftsmanship, tradition and innovation meets. I am absolutely in love with this detailing, where this more like a high-tech and traditional brickwork comes together. Beautiful detailing throughout the space. Louis Vuitton just moved out from this space. We'll see who the new tenant is going to be. And the other facade next to it, it was about pushing the limits of what we can do with glass. It's a curved glass, together with the steel detailing. I personally really feel like this is like a little jewelry piece in Amsterdam, and I just love to go and go even through these little silicone joints there, and just the precision is really, really beautiful. And Remova just moved in here. So if you feel like you want to give out thousands of euros for buy Remova luggage, that's your place. So you can travel without the luggage and get one from there. Okay. When the previous example was almost like this jewelry scale craftsmanship, then this example is much more about creating this kind of a recognizable destination in the city. So here, the topic mostly was about light and how light can redefine or enhance your shopping experience. And not only are the interiors driven by the movement and light and guiding you through the space, but I really feel like it's almost being inside of a sculpture. Like it is sort of like a gallery and a retail space at the same time. Of course, again, it is a place for consumption, but at the same time, it gives you the feeling of being, becoming part of the sculpture itself. Eventually, it's still a retail environment, but with a very strong spatial effect. And for me, this really helps to create these places that are not just there because of shopping, but you want to just experience the space. And additionally to what's happening in the interior spaces, actually throughout the light and the facade design, that is interesting from geometry perspective, of course, it also transforms from day to night to something very different. And I feel like especially during the night with the busy traffic around it and all the cars buzzing in the city, it really enhances this specific location as well. So it sort of reflects the energy of the street or even becomes part of the energy of the street. It's like a little disco break here. All right, let's move on. Enough of music break, advertisement break. I would like to bring you to another urban lively destination with, this is within a mixed use development, but we were actually working on the retail component of it and defining the retail journey with the 3 destinations within it. But this is another example for me that became this like urban interior space because it's actually not visible from the streets. You have to get into the courtyard before you can experience it. And eventually it's about seamlessly blending this exterior courtyard into the interior shopping environment. And again, it should not be just about consumption. It's really about space for connection, experience, and exploration. It is in China or in Asia in general. We experience a lot that people go out way more. They go out, they meet their friends, they have dinners together. And these are often the spaces where you do that. So you want to make it meaningful. You want to make it nice, not just transactional. I'm going to go a little bit to the smaller scale again. And this is about a couple of examples of how stores represent the face of a company and how they become a little bit more experience spaces rather than just placing your products out there. So it's really creating again these moments where you seamlessly actually are introduced to a brand. And what does it take? In this case, it's a flagship store for Oppo that was about the interior but also the exterior at the same time. And what makes one connect with a brand and its identity through the space? In physical spaces, we create this brand and product space is what we call it. And eventually it's all about exploration and invitation to play or be playful about something. So before you actually become in your head connected with one specific product, or you don't know anything about it, you maybe don't even want to know anything about it, the architectural space can still be something that invites you just to be in the space, and perhaps in a couple of months or years or hours, you also feel like you want to buy something. And it's really about also offering this more, again, with this gallery-like feelings, the flow, the connection, creating very, very, very different retail environments. And that people will build up the strong connection with the brand and its values through architecture. And the design of the project in this case was also inspired by the Oppo products. So it's always finding these little pieces that you can actually take from the products that the companies are producing, and now you can translate this into an architectural space. A different example is a flagship shop for Huawei that invites people to enter and explore and be curious. Is a very distinctly different character. It works a lot more with natural materials and light, and creating these flexible spaces that are also offering different programmatic uses in this space. So a variety activities that are really beyond retail. Before we go to a cultural or a gallery project, this is sort of a blend between retail and hospitality. It's a shop we designed for Porsche. It was really about understanding the values of Porsche, but also their local customers and what are the local customers looking from a brand space. And in this case was actually, first of all, again, creating a very welcoming environment where you can get to know the details and the story of the brand, and really just, seamlessly find yourself being next to an object. And create new stories, create the space for new stories, create the space for having conversation. And eventually also creating, allowed to have flexible spaces, because you have different uses in the space, and you want to have bigger or smaller events. So it is a space that was influenced by automotive industry, and instead of just being in a gallery, it became a social space. It's really blending also hospitality and retail together, which is a big trend right now in smaller retail projects. And actually, moving on from automotive, I mean, many of you probably know this project. You must know. If you don't, then you're not German, I guess. It's about another dynamic embodiment of UNStudio DNA in this case. It's about, again, merging innovation, adaptability, and future-forward thinking. It is a relatively old project already from UNStudio, and I'll have a little video here as well to just bring you into the museum mood. It's a masterful interplay of form and function that sparks curiosity in every turn. It works with this unique double helix that creates you the journey. So you basically have two journeys throughout the space. And the fluidity of the design creates also surprising moments and unexpected views, dynamic spatial transitions, and this ever-changing relationship between the exhibit, but also the architecture. It's a space where innovation and storytelling converge, offering an experience that is engaging and hopefully also inspiring. It is more than just a building. It's a spatial embodiment of Mercedes-Benz and its brand. And it makes it memorable, unique, and really loved by the people. And if you haven't been, you should go. I think it's a wonderful destination again. Who doesn't like a sunset, right? Sometimes one just wants to go on a Ferris wheel, which offers you panoramic views. But of course, we had to make it special. We had to make it a bit fun. We took the spikes out, reinvented how a Ferris wheel works and how it can stand up. So it is the world's highest spokeless Ferris wheel. It's about to be. It's not built in Korea. And it truly serves also as a cultural and recreational hub, enhancing the city skyline, obviously, with its geometry and look. Now, we've seen shopping, we've seen a museum. After a long day, some people just want to take a break, have a good sleep somewhere. Where is a good relaxing space? We love a unique destination hotel, like our Yosu Hotel. Obviously, you have very similar views from your window than you have towards the hotel. But it's often about having very, very unique locations to actually support your experience. So an architecture is there to, well, give you the place to go often. Or otherwise, we have destinations that are really deeply embedded into the nature, almost becoming one with it. An example in Batumi, Georgia. And I think many spaces can create, but also evoke memories and experiences. And I find it very interesting how hotel design has really moved from this more utilitarian way to be more experiential. And often, I hope many of you can agree with me that just having the time can be the ultimate luxury. And the architecture or the spaces you go can just be the facilitators of it. However, not everybody likes to go to a resort or to a secluded space. Many of our mixed-use projects actually host hotels. And I will walk you through a couple of our mixed-use projects that host hotels. One of them is Warsaw Tower in Dubai. This one actually hosts a Mandarin Oriental. This is a render, but the tower is actually finished. I'm going to show you a little video that's a little older, but you get the feeling of where it's sitting. So while there was a strong formal intent for the tower architecture, the design was also developed as a result of multiple environmental factors. The challenge was to create an amount of surface area towards the south-facing facade to protect against the thermal heat gain, which actually impacts the facades in Dubai the most. By stretching the front surface actually more over the building as far as we could, the idea was to create sort of a thermal shield, much like the systems you know from space shuttles or the re-entry capsules. So really try to enhance the geometry and the material at the same time. On a smaller scale, actually you see here, all of those fins are ceramic facade elements. So one is to, again, ceramic is a good material to work with very hot climates, but at the same time it also has a connection to the local materiality. So now we're done with the project. It's actually not looking that naked anymore. But it's, in my opinion, I was just in Dubai a few weeks ago, and it can be very, very anonymous. And this is one of the projects that actually is visibly an icon within the city. It's a little diagram showing a little bit what I explained about the wrapping south facade geometry to create more area around the sun-facing side. And also maybe just a little information about how we often work, especially with this kind of complex geometries. It's often a very data-driven workflow with creating optimizations to actually, in the end, minimize the processing delay between updates. And obviously, with clients, often you don't know what they want or what other ideas they have. So in order to keep everything as short as possible, a data-driven workflow is something that we have introduced to many of our projects. I already mentioned the ceramic facade. And yeah, it's about material, but also incorporating this kind of a cultural narrative into the design, of course. We all know probably the book from Kevin Lynch called The Image of the City and the role of creating landmarks in creating this like sense of space. Ruffle City is definitely one of the projects that has become one for Hangzhou. Not only is the project the first was built in this area, it has become a true icon for the city, and it's also known as one of the UNStudio DNA projects. So actually there was not much happening in this area. A lot of the clients, the idea was to put something very, very strong and iconic, so there would be more development around it. Immersing ourselves in different environments, we encounter the authentic, unfiltered aspects of the space. It's people, culture, and the daily life, rather than this idealized version that we might see from afar. And I do think that it's very, very hard to describe it without going through a space. Often we think that we create these anonymous objects within the city, but eventually we don't know how people are using it, or we don't know how they're going to start using it. As architects, we can think where would be these places where people want to sit and have a glass of wine or have a cup of coffee with friends. Where are they going to say, let's meet there? What is the meeting point? This podium is seamlessly connected with the surrounding public landscape and creating open spaces, pedestrian flow, and community interaction. And in the end, it's about introducing as much as daylight as possible within a deep 7-story shopping mall, and enhance the flow of people, but with the natural light and air through the space, and creating also stunning views up to the towers. The skylights introduce natural light, and it also helps with wayfinding. And of course, it also hosts a hotel if you're sleepy again. Being in Germany, I can't not stop on Frankfurt 4. We talk often about cities within cities, and this was a true example of making a city within a city. Often vertical communities are creating their own vertical city. And for Frankfurt embodies the concept of creating this kind of self-contained urban ecosystem with its 4 iconic towers. Each tower is designed to host a mix of residential, commercial, and leisure spaces, offering a diverse range of amenities, services, and cater to the needs of all different inhabitants. It acts as a unifying anchor between this more like block edge and the high-rise towers. It has this sculptural tower design follows actually the existing grid and the spatial edges of the city that are already historically there. And it's whole resting on one shared podium, and the design is inspired by this more like a windmill twisted geometry. The rooftop extends the public spaces from the permeable podium, and it's actually really just lifting up the ground floor and giving just more space for the people to be that they had before. It is a vibrant gathering space where people come together. This is again still a rendering, but we're almost there with the project. So hopefully this image can be recreated soon with an actual picture as well. It's a vertical neighborhood within the high-rise landscape, and this tower cluster represents, I think, a pretty good the essence of Frankfurt as well. Another beautiful mixed-use project. We're going to Australia, not Austria, as some people will not you guys mix it up, but people around the world mix it up. So Australia, we're planning a project that is actually these 2 towers. We call them the Green Spine. We call it Green Spine because, well, obviously from the geometrical perspective. But not only is it a 360 degrees attractive tower on itself, 2 towers, but I feel like it's also something beautiful about not just taking and building one fat tower, but actually making 2 of them. First of all, you create more light and views and accessibility for people. But also, if you actually do live in one of those towers, you can look at the other and you can still see the beauty with not just being in there. And of course, besides just having the towers, it's also about offering back the city the podium level again. So the podium level is a true ground floor experience elevated. It hosts a range of entertainment and discovery places. And of course, again, as a traveler in the future, once this project will go to completion, it will host a 4-season hotel. So, start booking your tickets, I guess. Time to travel back to reality, or maybe not quite yet, but let's try coming back from our holidays. Back to work. I don't know how everybody feels about coming back to work after a long holiday. Do you wish you could still be on a holiday? Well, we managed to do that for the Booking.com headquarters, which is, nothing less than working in a resort eventually. It's a destination on its own, filled with many, many small destinations. Actually, with the interior design, it's meant to be that really every corner of the building has a different destination. You can go to Spain, you can go to New York. But of course, Booking.com being a travel company, it very much makes sense for them as well. Booking.com, if you don't know, it's an Amsterdam, it is from Amsterdam, the company originally, and their whole philosophy was to stay in the city center. So actually anywhere in the world where they have opened an office, they want to stay in the city. They want to keep their people in the city. They want to give them this vibrancy, this feeling of wanting to be part of something. And in Amsterdam, they used to have actually 12 offices, and the objective was to find one space where everybody can come together. So this is actually hosting all the previous Amsterdam offices. The building challenges people to be very conscious about what they do and where and which spaces fit their activity. Everybody has different working styles, and you want to find the best one for you. We wanted to encourage people to connect, to move, to be active and feel comfortable, tune into their psychological health, connect for social health, and, just look into yourself. What do you need at this day? And it's not always the same working style. Sometimes you just need more a calm space. Sometimes you want to talk to people. So buildings where we live, work, learn, all relax, profoundly impact our health, well-being, and productivity. So actually, this large atrium space in Booking.com headquarters serves as a central gathering space for everybody. It's almost like this plaza that it's an interaction space amongst employees. It's really flooded with natural light, with a large atrium, as actually really, really great acoustics as well. And it's really there to be an open atmosphere with all the restaurants around it, etc. It acts as a focal point within a building, linking various floors together, and creating this dynamic environment that eventually need to support your work and your social activities. And its design element underscores the headquarters' commitment to creating this vibrant and collaborative workspace at the end. And besides being awarded with BREEAM Excellence certificate, the project also closely followed the WELL standards and principles. So not only it's an efficient and sustainable as a construction, it's also a space for people to be paying attention to not only their light, but also the movement, materials in mind. So actually introducing all kinds of staircases to the space and hiding elevators, for instance, is something that's really helped people to stay active. And offering also a lot of greenery and nature along the way. So the place actually hosts over 11,000 plants in the atrium space. It is truly a resort instead of just being an office building. It is unfortunately still a private office, so you can't just walk in there. However, we are lucky enough to sometimes host little tours, and if you know anybody working in Booking.com, you can absolutely go in there they have free lunch and very beautiful restaurants. I heard that they are very well following the well standard proposal, so that if healthy food is for free and everything unhealthy you have to pay for. So if you want to eat chocolate, you got to pay for it, but if you want to have a healthy lunch, it's on booking. An office building again, but from a very different perspective. This is a YG headquarters in South Korea, and it's about creating a destination for K-pop fans. So a lot of people want to go and see this space. Not from inside again, because they're very, very protective about their people. It's filled with offices, recording studios, and creative spaces. And it's pretty much an enclosed environment for music. We want to create a place that is for the music, for the flow, and, music speakers question, how do you bring this all together? So eventually it's really about constructing a product, an urban speaker, how we call it. An urban speaker, a product that is there to contain and hide the creativity and only show it a little bit to the outside. It really acts as this sort of a machine-like shell from outside. But in reality, it hosts a beautiful hidden atrium for all the users and all the people who can enjoy this space for creative activities or break time. And with this active, functional inner facade, it also is a nice office space for having little meeting spaces actually along the facade. That it's a lot about creativity, making you feel like you're almost in a space and in a futuristic environment that would encourage culture and creativity. And this is an image actually from one of the music videos that they shot in the space. But before we return from Korea, this is the last project which is about offices, and we're about to start wrapping this up then. Another icon in South Korea, the Hanwha headquarters. It was all about actually figuring out why we shouldn't build new. How can we retrofit? So this project was about retrofitting. And it's about finding strategies. How can you, within a busy city environment, renovate something that is still meant to stay functional? In this case, actually, you see this orange block. It takes 4 floors, and actually over a couple of months they just moved out four floors of people, and it just kept on going up. So it's really inspired also about how animals in a way shed their skin, etc. And this was it was a very nice and first example of this system used in Seoul, but it's really a benchmark at this point for future renovations in this area as well. This animation shows a little bit of logic about the facade. It has integrated solar panels because Hanwha is producing these panels. And of course, because we are in the city environment, you do want to make sure that your facade is responsive. So this was the analysis behind it. And of course, due to the responsive facade design, the indoor environment was greatly improved for over 300 plus employees. We also upgraded some of their interior spaces. Finally, back home. We are in Munich, so I want to bring you back home to Munich. In this case, it's maybe you're also familiar with this project. We say that density should not erase identity, and I think with this project we made a great example of that. It's the residences of Funby. Definitely don't have to worry about keeping their life interesting and staying active throughout the day. So it's a beautiful example of modular living component that is tailored to your needs. It's about transformable furniture that allows you to take a compact 40 square meter apartment and make it feel like the 60 square meters. So by having these components that can be moved around, you can make your life interesting and keep on having a different, So it features elements like the bed plug-in or the storage or the work area. So finally, we have arrived back home, but I would like to leave you with some final thoughts. At UNS, United Network Studios, we believe that architecture is a global language and that it connects people, cultures, and ideas. We are a network of 450 people plus who thrive on thinking differently. Where some see challenge, we like to see solutions. I'm sure many other you as well. We saw the opportunity to turn a showroom into a museum, which is the Mercedes-Benz Museum. A transfer hall into the heart of the city, and rethink an office into a resort. Create new ways of living in our city centers. And therefore, we like to say we look beyond architecture. I thank you very much for your time.